Hello and welcome to this weather update. And before I get started, I just want to show you the pictures of the sky yesterday. We actually, despite all the clouds, we actually had a pretty nice looking sky. We had some blue in between the clouds, which was really nice. Even if, maybe if it wasn't so humid out, it would have been a good day to go to the Pine Barrens with these skies. Again, this is because we're getting the Florida type air mass from the Caribbean. It's actually very clean, despite the high humidity. Clean air. So even though despite the fact the humidity's been high, I actually have been feeling better versus when we've had that southwesterly flow. The southerly flow is much better. And this was yesterday afternoon. You could see the thunderstorms starting to develop looking to the north and west. And they were actually quite pretty. Cumulonimbus clouds as they were getting going yesterday. This is yesterday. This is not from today. And you can see there they are again. So really nice looking skies and cumulonimbus clouds, and just amazing. This is like just an amazing mix of anvil cirrus, and then as we got towards sunset, still some more beautiful altocumulus clouds. This is again from yesterday, and yesterday, let me tell you, we had this mountain of clouds set up to the west of cumulonimbus, and it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This is viewed from Hicksville. Again, this was yesterday, and you could see just beautiful, just beautiful skies. There's some crepuscular rays right there coming through. It was a very pretty, this is like the kind of sky you see in Florida. So it's better to be in Florida than Jersey. We've been dealing with Florida weather the past couple days, and as we get into this update, you'll see we're dealing with Jersey weather. And this again from yesterday, from top Mineola, looking north of a thunderstorm. I have a video of that. There was no lightning, unfortunately. Now today it was interesting too. We had some really nice blue sky to the south, and cirrus over us, but there were storms building by the afternoon. And if we look to the north, it was dark. It was dark looking to the north where the thunderstorms were. We never really got any thunderstorms here in Nassau County, not in central Nassau, just a little light shower that went over Hicksville. But some really interesting skies, and just share this. These are from today, so I figured I'd just share them with you. Now, let's get to this weather update. So let's get started with this confirmed tornado in College Point in Queens. It started in College Point and ended in Marlborough. The date was yesterday, August 2nd, and the estimated time was 10:20 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. It was the weakest on the scale, EF0, a maximum sustained wind. It just says estimated maximum wind, 70 to 85 miles an hour. Path width was 100 yards. The length was 0.7 miles, so almost a mile on the ground. Fortunately, no fatalities or injuries. So the summary is a tornado rated as EF0 on the enhanced Fujita scale with estimated winds of 70 to 85 miles an hour touched down near St. Fidelis Catholic Church in College Point, knocking down numerous trees and power lines and peeling siding off houses along a path about 3/4 of a mile long and 100 yards wide. The tornado strengthened as it moved toward Powell's Cove Park, where at least 50 trees were downed in a narrow, convergent pattern, highly indicative of a tornado. The tornado briefly moved along the southernmost shoreline of Powell's Cove and then dissipated over the far eastern edge of the park just before reaching 138th Street. Additional straight-line wind damage occurred from that point eastward to the Francis Lewis Park near Whitestone Bridge. This is the preliminary report. I'm going to show you the area it struck, and then we'll get to the current weather and the outlook for the next week. So you are looking at the area affected. Unfortunately, this is a rather lightly populated area of Queens. So the power outage impact in this area was, there was a lot of outages, but it was confined to this area. It wasn't that many outages. It was a couple hundred, considering that's not too bad, considering it could have been a lot worse had this tornado struck in a more heavily populated area, but fortunately it didn't, and fortunately no one was hurt. It hit Powell's Cove Park. It seems like this area right here, Powell's Cove Park, in this area here. Here's Powell's Cove Park, here's Francis Lewis Park. So it looks like a touchdown around here, and then wound up lifting up somewhere over here. We'll look at this area a little bit here further in detail. You can see, very not really too densely. It is just to the south, but this area where it hit pretty much, fortunately, looks like the worst of it hit the park and over water, but it did knock down some power lines in this area right over here. This is a very wealthy area of Queens, a very nice area of Queens, I might add. Powell's Cove Park, there aren't too many images of what it looks like. You can sort of look at it from the road here. It doesn't look like much, actually. But yeah, this is the area where it hit, right over here. So yeah, this is the area it hit right here. Yeah, there's a power line. That power line probably got knocked down in the tornado. So yeah, this area right here is where it hit, and then it wound up going through Amalba, which is over here. Take a look at this area here. So it wound up going through Amalba, which is over here. Very, very nice area. I'm sure very wealthy. This looks more like Nassau County or Westchester than Queens. And there's the Whitestone Bridge there. So it actually, no, that's the Thrugs Neck, I think. Or is that the Whitestone? That's the Whitestone. I should know my freaking bridges. I do apologize. And then it wound up over here in Francis Lewis Park. So that's where it wound up. We can take a look at this area here. See, there are a couple of pictures here of the park. Not good ones, unfortunately. But it's cloudy when these pictures were taken. But hopefully, it seemed like the trees were knocked down more over Powell's Cove. So this is a nicer park. So hopefully, not as much tree damage there. So that's pretty much the area it hit. Fortunately, we were very fortunate. No one was hurt. No one was injured. And most of the damage seems to be confined to these parks. Alright, so let's get to the weather current conditions across the area. We're going to first take a look at the satellite and see that we've had some mixed skies again. We've had some really interesting skies, as you saw in the beginning of the video, which I spoke about, very much like Florida, because the air mass, that's where the air mass is coming from. It's coming straight from the south. But now we have this dry front moving in. I'm just going to call it dry front because it's not really going to get any cooler behind it. It's actually going to get hotter, but the humidity is going to come down a little bit. And I mean a very little bit. So you could see the thunderstorms. There were some thunderstorms and showers that popped up today over the city and over Jersey Shore. And we will look at the radar next and take a look at them. Well, the storms for the most part have dissipated, but there was a couple of showers over here over the Jersey Shore that just dissipated. They weren't anything severe or anything like that. We do have some pretty intense storms, looks like, over northwestern New Jersey, though. But right now, nothing that's going to affect Long Island. However, later tonight into tomorrow, we'll be dealing with more of those, more of a threat for thunderstorms. Before I get to that, I want to get to the temperatures that we are seeing and what we have seen across the area the past couple of days. First, we will look at the current conditions. 79 degrees with a dew point of 73, so it's quite humid, but not too hot. Brookhaven Airport, 80 degrees, dew point is 75. Central Park, 77 degrees, dew point is 73. And Toms River in Miller Air Park, west of Toms River, 81 with a dew point of 73. But I want to take a look at the high temperatures we've had the past couple of days. And we'll start with Farmingdale, that over there. So Farmingdale hit 83 today. That's not too bad. Looks like about 83 before the showers came in. And yesterday, Farmingdale hit 85. So yesterday was a little hotter. We had more sunshine. But again, not too bad of a day. Not too uncomfortable because we had a really strong wind. Unfortunately, a little less wind as we go into this evening, so it's why it feels a little worse. We'll look at what Brookhaven got up to today. 84 degrees at Shirley. Hotter because they've had more sunshine, and that's probably why. But look at these dew points. It reached 78 at Shirley again, with very high dew points for this area, and very unusual. Let's see what it hit yesterday at Shirley. So yesterday hit 85 degrees. Again, those dew points getting up to 78, and that's sort of in the Long Island Pine Barrens, in the middle of them, Shirley. So it definitely gets hot there. It gets hot there, but not like Toms River. So we're gonna go to that. And Toms River had a lot hotter in Toms River. 89 degrees today in Toms River, and again some really high dew points seen there too. Dew point up to 78 right around noon there. Really, we're going to see dew point 80 degrees the way things are going this year. But this is the way the climate is going now, you know. And yesterday, Toms River hit 93. So 93 in Toms River while it was so mid-90s there, while it was in the mid-80s here. It shows you just how much hotter it is in Toms River, how much more heat there is there versus here. But like I said, we're going to get in some of that heat on Sunday. We'll look at Central Park. They hit 85 today at Central Park before the rain moved in. And dew points a little lower there, a little lower in the mid-70s. Still not great. Yesterday, Central Park also hit 86. So again, Toms River is still a good lot hotter than Central Park. Anyway, now let's take a look at the outlook. Let's take a look at what the models have in store for us and the threats that we're going to be dealing with for the next 24 to 48 hours. And I want to very briefly get to those threats. We have a flash flood watch in effect from later tonight into most of Saturday because of this front approaching, and there could be some thunderstorms that are going to bring flash flooding, and they're going to be possibly on the strong side. So we'll start off with the 12-kilometer NAM, and this is the 18Z run. Again, you see that ridge over there, so you're going to see what happens here as we move this along into Saturday. You can see that that rain is getting closer and closer, and that could be some heavy rain over us right there, over Long Island, and because this front's moving really slowly, so that moisture stream is going to come. Basically, this is the heart of the fire hose, so to speak, that is going to be moving over our area early, probably sometime, I would say from, very early this morning, probably like 4 a.m. all the way until maybe 2 p.m. We're going to be at risk for some of these heavy rain thunderstorms. I think heavy rain is going to be the primary threat with these. Then they move away, and then we're in a dry pattern. You can see that we have a different type of flow setting up, but it's not going to mean it's going to be that much more comfortable. All right, I want to take a look at a finer resolution on the NAM to show you the front, show you this a little more in a higher resolution. It just gives you a guess of where the cells can pop up. You could see, yeah, some really heavy stuff popping up over us. Probably around, that looks like around 11 a.m. Over the city, and then moving out over Long Island. So there could be some flooding, and some of these storms could be intense because we're dealing with a lot of moisture in the air. So let's take a look at the temperatures and see where the temperatures stand here as this front moves through. Temperature shaded, we'll do this, and you'll see here as this front moves through. We'll use the NAM. We'll look at some of the other models too. But again, this is the higher resolution. I'm going to use the higher resolution temperatures too. Some won't be that hot, especially over Long Island. It probably may only get to around 80. It's going to be hotter in Jersey, definitely well into the 80s there, of course. But what happens as we go into Sunday, you can see we all get into the heat here. We are all well into the 80s, maybe close to 90 degrees in much of the area. There won't be a sea breeze, because we're going to get to that in a minute with the winds. You can see here that there won't be a sea breeze at all. So actually the wind should show up on here. The wind should show up on here. Go back to this. Oh yeah, got to do this here. You get the wind here. Alright, so here we go. We'll look at the wind and you'll see what I mean with the wind. Alright, see how the winds have been coming out of the south the past couple days. And this south flow basically means that the air over Long Island, for the most part, is coming out over the ocean. So while it's extremely humid, it's not that hot. The heat has been confined to New Jersey and points west of New York City. But what's going to happen is when this dry front comes through, the winds are going to shift. And you see now the winds are westerly. And we're going to have a westerly flow, and that means a flow off the land, a flow off of New Jersey over Long Island, and that means we will be dealing with the heat once again. And it's just going to be a little less humid. So let me get to the dew points now. Look and see what the dew points have. Alright, we've got to look at the dew points and see, again, these dew points, which will come down a little bit. So you'll see here we have high dew points over us tomorrow, and then this dry front comes through. But see, the dew points really don't come down all that much. They go from like the mid-70s to maybe around 70, maybe some upper 60s north and west of the city. But they're really not going to come down that much. It's still going to be humid. It's still going to be uncomfortable. It's actually going to feel a lot worse on Sunday than it has the past couple of days. it's going to be a bona fide brutal day on Sunday, courtesy of New Jersey giving us their heat. So that's one model. Let's take a look and see what. Let's go back to the GFS. I'm going to go back to GFS, and we can actually look at the dew point on that too as well. You pretty much get the same idea. I mean, there's no real disagreement with the models. The GFS maybe brings the dew point a little lower on Sunday. Brings it a little lower, maybe into the upper 60s, maybe. You can see that flow again, and then that flow comes. It looks like once we get toward Monday and Tuesday, that flow gets a little more southerly again. So that could help keep us a little cooler. We'll get into the longer range a little later, but that's what's going on pretty much. We can look at the temperatures. Actually, I do want to look at the clouds. Let's look at the clouds. Let's see what we got with cloudiness here. So it actually might wind up clearing up on Sunday. Yeah, we might actually have some clear skies for part of the day. So it'll be clear, it'll be hot. I don't know. It's probably going to be hazy because of the way where this air is coming from. It's coming from over here. So it's probably going to be hazy, I'm thinking. Look at the Canadian too. They have a Canadian also does the cloud fraction. Actually, look at the NAM too. Yeah, it clears us out too. Has some more clouds over in New Jersey, but Long Island will be clear on Sunday, and we roll into Monday, more cloudiness. This air is very humid, so I mean it's not really going to really improve very much. Actually, it's going to get worse. You know, people are saying, "Oh, the humidity is coming down." It's not going to be enough of a drop for it really to affect the. Well, it's not available on that one. It's not going to be enough to drop the comfort index. Very much. It's actually going to feel a lot more uncomfortable than that. So we're going to Sunday. You can see all the clouds. It's a higher resolution. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. So now I want to look at the general pattern. Go back to GFS. Change it to the CONUS. All right. So now we're in the CONUS, the GFS. So we're going to look at the pattern as a whole. So there's the ridge. You can see it's starting to be pushed out to see a little bit. But what's going on really is the ridge is still in place. It's just kind of moving. The center is moving more over this. Instead of being over the Atlantic, it's moving more over the Carolinas. So that gives us that westerly flow, which is going to kill us on Sunday. Sunday and Monday are going to be absolutely just steam bath, brutal days, and not much relief because of that westerly flow off New Jersey. So that's what's going to happen. So you can see it's still, fair weather. Probably won't be thunderstorms Sunday and Monday, but it's going to be just brutal days. Then the ridge, it's trying to get beaten down a little bit here. So let's see what happens as we go into Thursday here. Still a chance of showers. It looks like a stalled front, and it looks like maybe we can start pushing this thing offshore a little bit. It's trying, but it's still looks like there's going to still be a front in the vicinity, right in through the next weekend, and then that ridge just. There's really no real relief from this pattern. We can't really, and maybe as we get later in August, we'll start seeing some drier air from Canada. But right now, it just seems that we are just dealing with this. I want to look at the dew points to show you the dew points across the country. So we go into Saturday, you see high dew points. And Sunday, the dew points don't really go down very much. They really don't. You can see the whole eastern half of the country is in high humid air, all the way up from here to here. The humidity is on the west is too dry. The west is too dry. They're getting too many wildfires, and the east is too humid. So this is what's going on with our climate. It's really screwed up. And does this change anytime soon? No, it does not change. Get that? No change at all. Maybe, like I said, toward the end of the period, maybe we'll start seeing a change. But right now, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Okay, we are at the Ventus site now, and I just want to look over a couple of things regards to the current conditions across our neck of the woods on this planet. And these are the temperatures, so you can see everywhere has got heat. Even look at this, even well up into Canada here. If we go up and pan it up a little more, you'd see that there's still some heat. At least it looks like it's cooled off in the Arctic Circle, back to more normal temperatures up there. But as far as Middle of the country still very hot, a lot of heat going there, and of course in the West Coast just a tremendous amount of heat. Look at that, 105, that far north in California is really unusual. It does cool off though as we head north of there, fortunately. So hopefully they're going to get some help with fight. Looks like more of a maritime flow trying to set up over there, hopefully helping them put out those horrible fires. So I want to look at the dew point. We're going to actually go and look at the dew points across the here. So again, show where the humidity is. You can see the humidity is, look at that. You can see the circulation of that huge ridge, literally, and again, it's just going all the way up the whole eastern part of the country. I mean, high dew points into the 70s, all the way up into Canada almost. So it's really strange. Even over here, there's some high humidity, even way up in here, which could be close to the Arctic Circle. So again, very weird. You know, this is all due to the jet stream being abnormally wavy due to climate change. But again, very low dew points out west, very dry air, and so they got really dry air. We got real humid air because the pattern is stuck. And I actually want to look at the wind speed and take a look at that. And we're going to actually go and look at the jet stream areas. So let's go ahead and look at 500 and 300. So again, very wavy, diffuse jet streams, and that's why we really can't look at this. This is a mess, all right? And this is why we can't move the weather along. Again, jet stream is powered by the difference between in temperature between the Arctic Circle and the equator, and because there is less of a difference between the poles and the equator due to climate change, jet streams are weaker, wavier, more diffuse. This is talked about by many climate scientists. And here is the 300 millibar level. So again, you can see just how wavy this jet stream is, and it's just nuts. It's just nuts. Trying to find the polar vortex part of the jet stream. You can see, look at how weak it is. So this is not normal. This is a mess, and that's why the weather is a mess, and that's why things aren't moving along from west to east. You know, we're having monsoonal patterns, and instead of a normal west to east flow, like the weather is supposed to move because of climate change. I also want to look at the MODIS high resolution satellite. We don't have all the data in for today, but you can see how clear, despite this air being very humid, this air mass over us. You can see the high right here in the circulation coming up the East Coast. It's clean air. It's coming in from the ocean. So what happens is when this high retreats a little bit and we get into this air mass, which is humid air from the Gulf, it's going to be hotter and a lot more polluted, and it's going to feel a lot worse than it has been the past couple of days. So all those complaining about the humidity the past couple of days, it's going to feel a lot worse because the humidity comes down just a tad, air quality goes way down, and the temperatures go way up into around 90 degrees and perhaps above that in most areas except right along the water. And you can see some haze and smoke here. This could be from the fires out west. Let's go and take a look at the oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, there's some smoke right there. So this is all from the fires out west. So this is what we may be dealing with over the Sunday and Monday. I'm thinking we're going to have some pretty bad air quality those days as a result of this change in the flow from this direction, which is off the Caribbean, to this direction, which is from the Gulf and then over the middle of the country, and then some smoke also mixed in from the fires out west. And you can see here they are. They're still going. Look at all the smoke that's coming from these fires. It's insane. It really is insane. Wow, you can see you've got it spreading across the entire country from California all the way west. This is just a tremendous amount of smoke, and you know this can't be good. It's more carbon dioxide in the air. You have two things that these fires are bad. They put more carbon dioxide in the air, and also there's less trees to soak up carbon dioxide. So this is a big problem. And again, we look at the fires here. You can go way back, go back every day and look at them, and just see all the smoke they've been putting out for days on. Look at this. These fires have been going. I'm going to just keep going back until we don't see them. How far back do we have to go? They're still going there, still going there. They're still going there. It looks like we have to go back to mid-July. No, there's still fire activity. The fires have been burning since mid-July. This is insane. It really is. This is insane and not normal at all whatsoever. That's for sure. So again, as bad as this air mass has been the past week, it actually hasn't been all that bad because we've had a pretty stiff breeze off the ocean. That's going to change, and it's going to be downright brutal come Sunday and Monday. And then we have the dust too, by the way, coming off South Africa. Excuse me, not South Africa, but the Sahara. And you can see some of the dust looks like it's being deflected northward toward Europe, but then we have a huge cloud over here that looks like it's heading toward the Caribbean. So I wonder, let's see if we can take a look, see the progress of that today. Yeah, it still hasn't reached the Caribbean yet, but it looks like it's heading. It's at the eastern leeward area. It's probably going to be over Florida and this whole area here, and probably come up into the south and Texas again. You can see just huge amounts of dust. The good thing about this dust, though, it's suppressing tropical development, which is very, very good news. The Atlantic seems to be having a very quiet season, so hopefully we get spared this year from any hurricanes or tropical storms coming close or impacting the East Coast. But things are different out west on the Pacific, and there are actually some storms out here. A whole bunch of them, actually. We have to actually talk about those too. So we'll have to track those. I think one of them starts with an H. I forgot the name, but this could wind up impacting Hawaii. Again, the Pacific's having a very active season. You can see, look at all that activity just because of the warm water temperatures and very favorable conditions in that area for tropical development. So the last part of this update will be looking at the tropical activity. We don't have anything in the Atlantic, but we have a busy amount of things going on in the Pacific. We have Hurricane Hector. All right, it's Category 2. Maximum sustained winds are at 90 knots or 105 miles an hour, and the minimum central pressure is 9.75 millibars. And then we have all these other disturbances that will probably wind up forming, going into something too. And we're starting to see, I think, the effects of an El Nino starting to develop again in the Pacific. This is one of the things you start seeing with an El Nino. We go into we take a look at Hector's track, and you can see it comes awfully close to the Hawaiian Islands. The cone looks like it comes close to the Big Island, and we still have that ongoing eruption at Kilauea. And it's actually forecast to become a major hurricane. So it's going to definitely gain strength. The conditions are favorable, and it's definitely bears watching, especially if you're in Hawaii. So that will conclude this weather update. Thank you for watching. Take care.